Hey, so I wanted to talk about the total lunar eclipse in Leo occurring January 31st at approximately 8:30 a.m. in the morning Eastern Standard Time. Huge transit. Huge transit. So let's get into it. Um, First, I'm going to talk about a little bit of personal experience with this because I have these nodes natally conjunct my ascendant, which is in Leo. It's on the 12th house side, but it's a couple degrees off my ascendant, so I feel like I know this energy pretty well. Um, so I'm going to talk about some personal thoughts and personal experiences I've been having, and then extrapolate to the collective, and maybe you'll identify with some of the themes here. Maybe it'll help you. But it's very important transit, very symbolic in life and very important for the times, and I'm sure everybody is feeling the energy right now. I'm sure themes with both nodes, the north node and the south node, might be coming up in a lot of people's lives. Very heavy. There's a tension around. Um, so we'll talk about both the north node and the south node. But the first thing I want to say is that personally, I think this is very closely tied to the total solar eclipse we had in Leo last year in 2017 in August 21st. And personally, having recently got into the deeper aspects of astrology over the last, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years, all last year I was looking at that transit, the total solar eclipse, and the way it worked with my chart, because the solar eclipse was, about 9 degrees ahead of where the node is in my chart, and then this eclipse, the node is on the other side, same distance, and they both kind of straddled my ascendant. So last year I was really looking forward to that August 21st total solar eclipse, and I thought that was going to be the moment where I kind of really came into my flow, came into my groove, and things would start happening, and I'd come into my true self and really feel it and really start shining, you know? And I've all year I looked towards that point as the moment that it was going to happen. And then when it got, I remember the day. I remember the lead up to it, but specifically, I remember the day, and it was totally the opposite. That day felt so heavy, and there was a definite occlusion that happened emotionally, psychically, psychologically, everything. Even the external world, I saw evidence of this occluding factor that came and just suppressed the whole thing. And this was very disappointing to me. I couldn't understand why it was happening. But as we know, eclipses tend to occur every 6 months. And they kind of set the tone for the next 6 months. And if I look at the last 6 months in my life, I can see those occluding themes, mostly related to other people in relationships. And this makes sense because of where the South Node is. It's in Aquarius, and that's to me the most social of the signs, the most societal of the signs. It's we're expanding out to humanity as a whole, how we fit in society, and Aquarius deals with lots of things. Um, It deals with the products of society, the technology of society, what is produced by society. Um, and it deals with the higher aspects of society, brotherhood, the equality. Um, and yet, the other side of Aquarius is the opposite of that. It's total individuality in terms of rebellion. Um, one side of Aquarius is all about assimilation, looking at what everyone else is doing and the norms and everything, and assimilating so that everything may work harmoniously and blah blah blah. And then the other side of Aquarius is about looking at all that and totally rebelling, the eccentric, the rebel. Um, but it very much deals with society in terms of the actual socialization and interaction of people. And the last 6 months, the themes for me were totally about other people and being focused on what they are thinking, what they are doing, what they're thinking about me, their judgments, how they think I should be, what they think I should be doing, and how this factor can restrict the expression of your true self and really being in touch with your will in the universe. What is your heart saying? What is your heart saying to do that you want to do? What is your heart saying about what you want to express and how you want to express? What is your heart saying about you? You know, who are you? What is your true self? Are you in alignment with that? What is your joy? What is your truest self? That's Leo. That's Leo. And the thing about Leo is that it's doing that in a way that's almost with a childlike unawareness of what other people think about it. It's not the higher form of Leo. The lower form of Leo is the opposite. It's narcissistic over awareness. Doing stuff just for attention, doing something maybe that's kind of fabricated and then looking around at everybody's reaction and waiting for praise. And the higher form of Leo knows innately, just like a child does when they're playing, they just express joy into the world. They radiate joy in the world. They're focused. They're in a flow state. That's kind of like what Leo is, and and if you radiate like that, people see that, and that's what they want to see. That's what the world needs. But be aware of the South Node aspect. That's what these nodes mean. They're karmic directions, whether in transit. It's saying what you should focus on now. What is your karmic next step to move away from something that you've learned, lessons you've already learned, things you've already mastered, karmas you've already been through, and move towards something that is the next step that you need to take and the next lessons you have to learn. And this is not always easy. It can be very challenging. It can be the one thing that you're most fearful of doing. But in my opinion, the way that the universe works and astrology works is that, during these transits, and especially if you have any of this stuff natally, you will feel the pressures and it will force you into that direction of the zodiac. Remember, because we can look at the zodiac in terms of psychology, we can look at it in terms of themes. It's a very useful tool to break up your psychology and reality and society and everything up into these different themes and these different modalities in life. And so it's very important where Leo is in your chart, what house it's in, what planets are in it, what aspects are to it. And that the fact that the node is there is pointing towards that's the area you want to move. And you'll find that external pressures and internal pressures will give you resistance, maybe even pain, conflict, obstacles, challenges, and things that really get to you that you don't want to be dealing with, that you don't want to do. And if you ignore this, in my opinion, they will amplify and grow until the only place you can go is to where that north node is pointing. That is the only place that feels good. And so I think this lunar eclipse is very significant. For me, I know it is. And I think collectively, I think for a lot of people, because let's talk about the South Node. And this is how I've been thinking about it lately. Just to put it very succinctly, to me, the South Node is like social media and the whole thing that has arisen with the internet in the last 10 years since smartphones. What it's become, the connectivity aspect of it, the network aspect of it. I see so many themes regarding this, the Aquarian aspects of social media, how everyone's profile page has the same layout. We're all in these boxes, just like I'm talking into a rectangular box right now, and you're watching this on a rectangular box, and the profiles of our social media outlets are all boxes or rectangles or squares, and we're all living in squares, and we send each other messages in squares, and we read these rectangular messages, and it's a very square world, and it's all about homogenization, really. And you'll see, and let's just talk about Facebook. There's this pressure that everyone's aware of, that to some degree you have to, if you're interacting, you see everybody else's profile and how they're acting and what they post, and there's this humongous pressure to assimilate. You don't want to be called out for being different, for not fitting in, for not adhering to the norm. Everyone feels this in society. This is the themes that have been coming up. South Node, just like, oh, that's not what a typical man does. That's not archetypal male behavior. Blah, blah, blah. There's all kinds of pressures that we are exposed to almost subconsciously. These are things that are running in our mind, and it's driven by fear, because if you stand out, immediately you're gonna deal with ostracization and all kinds of pressures, humiliation, maybe judgment and stuff. So there's a pressure, if you're involved in these networking software or whatever you want to call it, social media, there's an unconscious pressure to assimilate, and in that you form this fabricated self that you're displaying to the world, and you have a pressure to manufacture that constantly, to make sure you're getting the right kind of feedback, and if you don't, it can really affect you. There can be pain, psychic pain. um it's social media. I mean, Aquarius and these aspects, these Uranian electronic digital internet connectivity aspects, it deals with surveillance. And the fact that, like, so many people, I mean, whether, you're in relationships or whatever, they're scoping out other people's social media pages. Whether it's full on stalking, you're checking up on them all the time and seeing what they're doing and blah, 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 blah. Or just creeping around other people's social media, looking at their pictures. People who find themselves for long stretches of the day scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, whatever. You're looking at other people's radiations and fabrications and opinions and lives and stuff like this. And if the nodes were switched, that might be a good thing. That might be what we were supposed to be doing. But the South Node is here. Venus is conjunct the South Node during this eclipse. That is extremely significant. That points to relationships, and it points to what you truly love and like. It points to money. It points to everything Venusian, but it's going to bring out what you don't like. It's going to bring out where you're blocked in this. It's going to bring this out. And I really think, especially relationships, that's where I've been seeing it. And like the pressure in the last couple weeks leading up to this eclipse in my life has been immense. I mean, in close relationships, in all relationships, it is without a doubt highlighting everything from my past, where I let other people take my power. You know, I cared too much about what someone thought about me, acting, trying to be perfect for them so they won't be mad at me, making sure that they understand me, you know, just trying to be accepted by everybody. Is that even possible? No, it's not. You can't make everybody agree with you. You can't make everybody understand. Some people are not going to understand. Some people are going to disapprove of you. That's unavoidable. And so if you're trying to do that, not only will you not succeed, but you're going to waste so much energy and so much time and be involved with the wrong people for you. Um, and it's just going to be a waste of time and energy because you won't succeed anyway, except that everyone is not going to accept you. Some people may disapprove, some people may hate you, some people are going to judge you. Look to the North Node in Leo. Realize that a truly embodied Leo at the highest form is not even aware. They do not care what other people think or if other people approve or judge. They're showing. They're showing the world this is what it is. This is how I am. This is what I'm interested in. And I'm going to spread it out in the world. I'm going to express it. I'm going to delight in it. I'm going to take joy in it. I'm going to radiate. Try to find that energy in your life, the Leonian, fun-loving joy, and what you truly delight in. And try to look towards that and do more of that and try to embody that. Don't do it motivated by the Aquarian social factors. Don't be posting on your Instagram just to impress everybody. Impress yourself. That's what this is saying. Do things that impress yourself and get yourself excited. If you do that, other people will see that and they'll be attracted to that, but that's not the point. The point is that you incarnated here to do something, and only your heart knows what that is. And now is the time to really come into that and start to do that and find that. And if you are cognizant of the moment, you might be seeing that there's pressures pushing you towards that. For me, with my Libra sun, Pisces moon, there's a lot of other placements. It makes me over susceptible to how people are reacting and what people are thinking, and trying to keep people happy, trying to be perfect for everybody. And this has gotten me into a lot of trouble with people. It's gotten me very disempowered before. And it's the pressure has built so much where I can't do it anymore. I can't take it anymore. I'm realizing that not only can I not keep everybody happy, that I will crumble in the process if I try to do that, and it won't even work in the first place. There's some people that you can try to do everything you can to be right for them and be perfect for them and keep them happy, and they still will take that opportunity to cut you down. That is South Node in Aquarius. That's the dark side of it. Try to identify those themes in your life. Those might be the themes that have been holding you back from coming into your power, from coming into your joy, from coming into a daily flow state in your life where you're flowing through in alignment. That's where you want to look towards, is Leo. And this is a heavy, heavy transit with that Venus conjunction. The sun is about to conjunct the South Node. These themes should be coming up around you. You should be feeling the tension, and it'll probably be dealing a lot with other people. It'll probably be dealing with money. It'll probably be dealing with what your heart truly desires and what are you truly interested in versus things that you're engaged in that you're not really stoked about, but you're having to do. That should be coming up. Conversely, Ceres is conjoined the North Node, and this is a beautiful transit. Ceres, the asteroid, the goddess of the harvest, the nurturer. She's like a secondary moon that is even more about natural abundance and fruitfulness and agriculture and abundance. To me, this means like grow yourself, grow your own joy, whatever it is your output and that you delight in the most. Grow that and watch everything grow. Nurture yourself, nurture your Leonian creativity, your childlike joy, the flow states. Also, Leo is about having your own realm, your own little world, your own little universe where you get to be the ruler. And you choose your social networks. You do. Even if you think you don't, you do. Take a look at your social networks and start to design them consciously with the people you really want to be around. Um, that's all Leo too. It's about building a kingdom. And may sound cheesy, but that's kind of what we're all doing all the time. It's a question of, are you doing it consciously or are you kind of letting it happen to you? Either way, you're still making choices. So, there's other aspects going on. For me, Neptune is a heavy influence. Neptune is connected to this. Everything's about to move into Pisces after this, and Neptune rules Pisces, and it's in Pisces. This is about doing the North Node in Leo, and for me, this is personal because I have it in the 12th house, but it's conjoined my ascendant. And I've thought a lot about this. What is Leo in the 12th house? But again, Pisces is Neptune is making aspects to certain things. I think maybe, let's see, I have it right here. Yeah, it's making aspects to this. So this it's about embodying this individuality. Like it's not even rebellious. It's not even aware. It's truly being yourself, even if that's way off line, eccentric to the max, but not noticing, being so busy in what you're delighting in and what gives you joy and what you want to express and your creativity, your individual creativity, your style, you know, and delighting in that as a gift. Like we incarnated here, that everyone is special in their own way, and it can be a source of delight. When you repress that and you allow the people around you to say some passive aggressive little judgment, I'm a person that's extremely sensitive to that, and it doesn't necessarily mean but I tend to rebel against it, and that's like the dark side of Aquarius South Node is like, what? You don't agree with, and I get locked into these power struggles and battles with people that shouldn't even matter. I shouldn't even be engaging with those types of people. Look to that in your own life. But the Neptune aspect and the Pisces aspect means that you don't give up on society. You don't just, forget about it and isolate it. Realize that we are still all one. Everything is one, and this is all happening. And you want to have that feeling while you're radiating from Leonian individuality. Still knowing that we're all connected and everything is one, and strive for universal love while you're doing that. But realize that there's so many social structures and technologies, like money, since Venus is conjoined the South Node. Something I've been thinking about a lot is I cannot get out of my head the fact that money, which many people are so obsessed with it, dominates their life and all their interactions as well. You know, how much money do you make? Or what do you do for money? Or how much money do you have? And they're judging and measuring everything by that, forgetting that ultimately money is a virtual substance. It's an illusion. It's paper rectangles, green paper rectangles. And people could argue with that and say, you can do this or that, but it's a virtual number. It's a virtual currency that is a symbol for energy exchange. Um, it's a technology. And I use that as an example, along with everything else, the social media, these technologies that arise from society. Do not allow those to dominate your life and dominate who you are. Just because you don't make a lot of money right now or ever, why would you let anyone else define you or judge you by that? Does that mean you're any less of a divine being, a spiritual being? You know? So it doesn't. And that I'm saying that about all these Aquarian societal technologies. Do not allow them to define you. Whether you assimilate and fit in or don't fit in, that has nothing to do with you and what you're doing and your true self and what you're about. So the North Node in Leo is pointing to move away from that. Don't be so caught up in what your all the metrics on your Facebook profile and where you went to school and did this and how you did this and all that. Don't even care about it. Don't think about what other people are thinking about you, or or what other people are doing with their lives and measuring yourself against it, because it has nothing to do. What you want to do is look inside and try to, as honestly as possible, look at your true self. Um, and feel where it's pointing. What do you really want to do? What do you really want to say? What do you really want to experience? What kind of people do you really want to hang out with? What really gets you stoked? What do you really want to learn? How do you want your days to really be? And then in engaging with all that, shine it out, express it, wear it on your sleeve, for everybody to see, and do it in a way that is almost unconscious of how they feel about it, what their reaction is to it. Even if 90% of people are like, don't agree, disapprove, don't accept you, that is totally fine. That is totally fine. Still be yourself. Express it into the world. Don't hide it. Don't occlude your light anymore. Radiate it. And do it without being cognizant of what other people's opinions are. And I think you'll find so many blocks just fall away out of your life, and you'll come into joy. You'll come into magic. You'll come into flow in creation and being in harmony with, the Tao, the force of the universe. You'll feel it. And in doing this, you serve as a guidepost for other people, who might be still caught up in the Aquarian matrix, that, oh, well, he's being his true self and he's not scared to do it. Maybe I can too. If allow yourself to be wacky, allow yourself to be whatever you are. Don't be ashamed of yourself. If people don't like it, that's fine. Don't dwell on that. Don't think about it. Just do what makes you happy. Try to find that with this lunar eclipse. I think mostly, yes, you're going to feel a pull towards coming more into your true self, whether that means starting activities or just on the inside, feeling things, changing your habits and stuff like this. But mostly, I think what it is a falling away of blocks and things that have been occluding you, which may have been triggered most heavily by the solar eclipse in Leo last summer. And the falling away might be precipitated by enormous tension, an enormous conflict, and the feeling of being enormously blocked and stuck and frustrated. And it might, build to the point where all you can do is let go, But once you do that, you'll find that the best place to move into is that Leonian creativity. Remember what it was like when you were young and how excited and happy and everything that's the wonder, the magic, the joy. That's your safe space. So try to find that this lunar eclipse. And I hope this helps, and I hope everyone has a good one. Thanks. Bye.